Hey, everybody. Blessings on your life. Another day that the Lord has made. We're going to rejoice and be glad in it. I am just trying to get myself together. I've been working all day and I'm trying to prepare a meal here so we can have a little something to eat. We all need to eat. Let me preference my live by saying this. I know that I mentioned on what's today, Wednesday. I mentioned on Sunday that I was going to finish my series, The Menu. And I am a man of my word. I am. And I'm going to do that. However, I'm going to postpone it another week or for another time. We'll try to do it on Sunday. I want to talk to you today and give you a little pro advice, some financial advice, um, some financial uh, uh, literacy advice as it relates to a few things, primarily investments. But before I do, let me say this because I'm getting folks that when I start talking about money, they want to borrow money. And the purpose of me talking about investments or giving pro tips about money is not for you to message me and ask me for money, especially if you're a man. Goes for men or women, but especially if you're a man, because my the thrust now, the inertia behind my ministry, the soul of my ministry is to propel men to be successful and to be able to do things on their own. Okay, without me, I don't want to get too crazy with this right here. So I'm doing this to empower. Empowering you is not you asking me for money and saying that I'm going to pay you back on Tuesday. You're not going to pay me back on Tuesday. And I'm trying to teach you how to fish instead of giving you a piece of bread. And so, usually, what I do is I ask people that are engaged with what I'm doing or what I'm saying, tell me a little bit about what I'm about. Tell me about a message or something like that. And if I see that they are hungry, if I see that they understand that they're really trying to make a difference, then I may go the extra mile. But I'm not a bank. So I'm just saying that don't call me. Don't do that. Don't call me and ask me for money. Please don't do that. The other thing I want to say is that from an investment standpoint, um, I've invested in a lot of stuff. I've invested in real estate. I've invested in mutual funds. I've invested in stocks. My portfolio is vast. I've invested in crypto. I've invested. Did I say real estate? I've invested in real estate, indexes. I've invested in indexes. So I've done a lot of investments, right? And I'm proud of the investments. I've invested in education. A lot of you know that I've spent 13 plus years in higher learning to the highest degree of education. Um, and I plug because it cost me a lot. That cost me a lot. I did that, but what I want to say out of all of that, the thing that I am most proud of, and those were some very significant accomplishments. But the thing that I'm most proud of is the fact that I invested in me. I made an investment in me. That means that I took stock inside of me. I looked inside of me. I mined out what was inside of me. I proved what was inside of me. I believed what was inside of me. I think a lot of us, we can go, we can do. I see a whole lot of stuff on YouTube, this that, and the other about, invest in this, invest in that, take out insurance, have a policy against this, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's all fine and good, but if there is no change in your behavior as it relates to financial literacy, none of that stuff will last. It won't do you any good. So you have to hedge yourself in, just like a hedge fund, right? You hedge yourself in to protect yourself against future calamities. The way that you do that is not just to invest into, money markets, to invest in the crypto. First of all, you invest in crypto. How much do you know about crypto? How much do you know about the stock market? So you basically, a lot of people doing what somebody telling them to do. They don't even know how to go buy a car. They don't know how to go buy a house. They'll go do it, but they don't understand all the financial ramifications, the lingo, and all that stuff that accommodates that process. And so you have to hedge yourself in. And when I say that, that means that you have to fortify yourself in a way to where you are going to protect yourself. You're going to understand. So understanding is very key. You're going to understand the dynamics. You're going to be able to see trends, predict trends, all that based upon the knowledge that you have. So you invest in yourself. If you don't do that, then what happens is you go with the flow. When things happen, you listen to the news or this is going on, that's going on. It dictates to you what you are supposed to do and how you are to do it. I mentioned, I think, on the live before last, when I gave a pro tip, and I was talking about buying cars. I think I labeled it 8%. Well, anyway, one of the things that I said that I was able to do when I talk about hedging myself in and I invest into me, along with all these other things that I have an understanding about. One of the things that when I talk about the 8%, um, well, not necessarily just the 8%, um, percentages, period. But when I mentioned that to you guys, I was talking, I wanted to talk about it from the standpoint of supply and demand. And so you have to position yourself. So I think I went back and I alluded to 2020, that I made some investment moves that shored me up for 2023 or what have you. I can't remember. But supply and demand, what that means is, and that's what I said. I was talking about the cars, and I said that cars back then, they were not a whole lot. They were not plenteous. Okay, so you look at lots and you didn't see cars. So when you don't see cars, the supply now is very limited. What does that mean? That means now that the prices go up. Whenever there is a famine, whenever there is a dearth, then the prices go up. So now there's getting ready to be a change because the shift now is that car lots are going to be in abundance. When cars become in abundance, then the prices go down. That's supply. That's the main rule behind supply and demand. What there is little of, the prices go up. What there's a whole lot of, the prices go down. And so if you don't know how to hedge yourself in when you have an opportunity, now you can take advantage uh, of times like this, and you can position yourself to where you can buy smart. You can buy smart. So I alluded to the fact that anybody going out and they pay 8% for anything, eight, that's prime. And there's other rates out there. You got Fed rate versus mortgage rates and all that stuff. I'm just giving some very basic stuff. So you have to go do your research to understand how all that works. But at the end of the day, you want to buy smart. So as I said, I'm not going to spend 8%. We do that because we want to keep up with the Joneses. We got egos, whatever. You go out, you get your Ferrari, and Ferrari for what? I thought about it. I have cars. I can get another one. I got a fetish for automobiles, but it's one of the worst things, and I got pretty good control of it right now. But I still like to ride nice. You feel me? You feel me? So, but I'm gonna hold off. I'm not gonna do anything because it's not the right time. They're playing with the market right now, and so I'm not gonna do that. If I was gonna get the type of cars I like, they're expensive cars, and I don't. I said I don't buy uh, expensive money because money can be cheap or money can be expensive. So I'm going to buy money. When I say buy money, that means to get a loan. I'm gonna buy money when money is cheap. So cheap money is at 2%, 3%, somewhere in there. That's when I'm going to buy money. But typically I finance stuff of my own. I'm my own bank. That means that if there's a car out there that I want, if it's 50, $60,000, I take my own money and I put that money in escrow. And so to the system, it looks like I'm making a payment, but I'm really not making a payment through them. I'm making a payment through me. I'm filtering it through them. Um, and so is it costing me? It is, but it's not. Now the thing that I do, and the reason why I do that is because let's just say you finance a 3-year loan, 36, or you do 60 months. If you go out and you have an accident after 8 months of having a vehicle that you pay $70,000 for, well, the depreciation on that car it's no longer at 70,000 what you paid for. So the return, the insurance, let's say you total it, the insurance is going to give you a lot less than 70,000 when you only had it for say 9 months. So if you go out and you pay cash for $70,000, and then the insurance comes back and they say, well, the car is only worth $50,000, that's what they're going to write you a check for. So for me, when I say I escrow it out, I escrow it out and I keep it matched with the market. So whatever the market says that the value of the car is, then that's what I make sure it is escrowed out of the account and it goes towards the car. I still don't necessarily feel it from the standpoint of buying money and all that. Why? Because I've used my money. Okay. That was free. That was not what I want to talk about. I want to talk real quick from the subject. Is what I have on here today is investing in suburban real estate. That's the title of my message today, investing in suburban real estate. And let me just give you a scripture base for this right here, and then I'm going to be done with it. In Luke chapter 5, beginning at verse number 27, this is what it says. It says, and after these things, he went forth and saw a publican named Levi sitting at the receipt of custom. And he said unto him, follow me. And he left all, rose up, and followed him. And Levi made him a great feast in his own house. And there was a great company of publicans and of others that sat down with them. But their scribes uh, but their scribes and Pharisees murmured against his disciples, saying, why do ye eat and drink with the publicans and sinners? That's key, underscore that, publicans and sinners. And Jesus answered, answering, said unto them, they that are whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. But they that are sick, those are the ones that need a physician. So with that, I'm going to give you a pro tip, and we're going to talk a little bit about investments and my investment strategies and why. Because I was asked that question. They said, why don't you buy in the suburbs? So when we look at the scripture right here, when we talk about the publicans were tax collectors. They were in a different bracket. So I'm going to put them as suburban type people because they were the ones that dictated laws, all the different things. They was the one that was setting the interest rates. They like the feds, in that category, so to speak. So the publicans would be, say, publicans, tax collectors, or Republicans. Okay. Then you would look at the other side, then it says, and sinners. So the and sinners, although publicans are sinners, Okay, but sometimes it's the issue, and this is where I'm gonna get into this where I don't where why I don't invest in suburbs. Um, it is not that they don't need help. It's not that they are not at a deficit, that they you don't have the same issues that those in the hood have. It's the mentality now that I have to deal with now. So when we look at the scripture here, the publicans and the sinners, they both needed Jesus. Okay, now I don't have the wherewithal at this point. Okay, I'm not Jesus, and I know that greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. I get that. I have not gained mastery on how to deal with the publicans or the suburban areas to deal with real estate. I have not gained mastery. So I'm here to discuss today just a few reasons why I don't buy in the suburbs. Okay, I don't buy in the suburbs, and let me tell you why I don't buy in the suburbs. Number one, because they appreciate my work from a posture of exaltedness and pride. That's how they appreciate my work. Now we have to juxtapose that, contrast that with those that are in the hood. Okay. And that are in the hood, because they are not exposed, they don't have the wherewithal as those that are in suburban. Their mindset is different. I'm going somewhere, but they appreciate my work. And when I say my work, this is what I do, this is who I am. It's even a part of my ministry, right? So when I go out and I make investments, especially as it relates to real estate talks to me in a different way. Am I doing it to make money for myself? I am doing it, but I'm also doing it because it is a ministry of mine. And whenever I buy real estate, I see a house or I see a property as a soul, because they match in many ways. What you see going on with the house is what you see going on with people. I'll get there. And so anyway, they appreciate my work from a posture of exaltedness and pride. That's out in the suburbs. Their mindset is exalted. So Jesus, when he says that those that are not sick, they have no need for a physician. And so when you approach me, or when I come to you with my work, with my calling, what I've been gifted to do, when you look at me exalted, when you look at me with pride, when you look at me with your nose up in the air as if you know it all already, then it becomes a challenge for me to help you. Conversely, when I deal with those that are in the hood, because they don't know, because they are void, because they are not privileged, and they are absent of all these other things, they have a different type of appreciation as it relates to my work and who I am. Now, is it problematic? It is problematic. Is it problematic in the hood? It's problematic in the suburbs. But as I said earlier, Jesus mastered when he called the publican, that was one level of people, one type of people, and then the sinners would be another type of people. Both of them needs help. Then the Pharisees and the Sadducees need more help than all of them. But let's just take this in segments. Second reason why I don't buy in the suburbs, they don't see my heart and love on the product offered to them. They don't see that. In other words, they just there to take uh, take advantage. They don't see the heart. They don't see the love. They don't see what I'm trying to do. They don't see the ministry behind it. And a lot of times you don't see because you moneyed up, so you think because you got a good job. You work at IBM, you work at Google, you work at General Motors, Chrysler, whatever it may be. So you kind of walk with you're a little proud. You, like I say, you're a little exalted. You walk with a certain esteem, because money will make you think and behave in kind of really weird ways. And so it's hard for me to bring my product out to you, because there's a certain thing that I'm expecting once I deliver my product to you. So it makes it more challenging in the suburbs. I hope you're hearing what I'm saying. The third thing, they celebrate me from a posture of privilege and not a posture of thanks. Now, I mentioned privilege already, but I want people to be thankful. There's a gratitude piece that is near and dear to me. Jesus, he argued this a lot when he healed the lepers. It was one that came back. He says, "Did not I? It wasn't it 10 of y'all that came. Well, where's the other ones?" So the one that came back, he was made whole. The other ones got healed, but healing and wholeness is totally different. So there's an issue of how do I feel about the person that extended goodness to me, that extended mercy to me? And so when we look at this, for me, I look at your level. It's not just about money, and that's what I'm trying to get you to see. I don't know. A lot of people say, "Well, you talking about you in finances." And well, listen, let me tell you something. I'm telling you something that has worked for me, right? So I ain't coming and I ain't talking about what I want to be, what I'm trying to get to. I'm talking about already there. I'm talking about my experience. I'm talking about that's been in the business, been there, done that. I'm not blowing a horn or nothing like that. But with that, I've hedged myself in to the point now to where I ain't got to fight no more. Okay. So with that, I'm trying to get something to other people. That's the reason why I say, don't call me asking me for no money, because I'm trying to get money to you now, but money won't come by me giving you money. Okay. I digress. The fourth thing is it takes a long time for me to get a return on my investment. I know that's a little shallow for a lot of y'all, because you say, well, wait a minute, you're making it about ministry, but then you say, about your a long term for your investment. Well, I preface this by saying I ain't Jesus. So it's not to say that I won't invest in the suburbs. I will invest in the suburbs, but these are some of the reasons why I don't invest in the suburbs. And one of the primary reason is that it takes too long for me to get a return on my investment. Now let me contrast that. I just bought a property, right? And I showed that on one of my lives here a week ago or so. And the purchase price of that uh property, I can count the thousands on one hand. All right. You're not going to get a suburban property for 2,000, $3,000. You're going to pay 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 150,000 and all that. Now just think about this, right? I'm a financial guy, so to speak. How long is it going to take me to get the 150,000 back, 100,000 back, or the 70,000 back, as opposed to me getting $3,000 back on a property that I look at? I know the condition that it's in that's really bad, just like the condition that a lot of us are in. That's the reason why I liken properties to people. The contrast is that just because you go out into the suburbs, the people in the suburbs, they got a different type of condition. It don't mean that they better off. It actually, in many cases, just because the house looks better, it's in a better area, and they keep the yards and stuff manicured and all that type of stuff. A lot of those people, they hide, they cloak, and they don't expose what's wrong with them. So you got to go in and you got to pry it all out, as opposed to those that are in the hood. They lay naked. They say, listen, I'm on crack, I do drugs, I do this, I got 10 kids, all that. So it's still the same thing. They both need, but they need in a different way. So for me, from an investment standpoint, I don't buy in the suburbs. I have, but I don't buy in the suburbs as a practice, because if I buy a house of $50,000, then I got to I still got to invest money into it. I just don't buy it. Usually it's not turnkey at $50,000 or even $25,000. And sometimes not even $100,000 is a turnkey. And so now that means that not only what you bought the property for, the investment, then you got to turn around, you got to put some money into it. Now, this is what I meant by when I say that for me, I invest in myself. And I says, okay, I've invested in EFTs, I've invested in crypto, I've invested in the stock market, I've invested in real estate, I've invested in this, I've invested in that, education, this, that, and the other. But the main thing I invested into myself. I've said this time and time again that I don't worry about a lot of things that a lot of people worry about as long as I got good health. Why? Because whereas a person would say, "Well, why would you go?" And I get this from people all the time. They say, "Why did you go out and spend uh, money on that raggedy house?" Okay, it's raggedy to you, but understand this: I know my gifts. So with my gifts, and I proved this over and over again. I probably built almost by myself at least 10 or 11 houses. This ain't including the ones that I had help on. But I'm talking about some trials and errors. So I know I've had people walk out on me and I had to do the work all by myself. So I know how all this stuff works. But at the end of the day, I don't see what other people see. I don't look at it the way other people look at it. And the reason why I don't is because if you buy a $3,000 house that's dilapidated, when you buy it, you got to put $30,000 into it, $40,000 into it, maybe even $50,000 into it in order to get it tenable or to get it livable. I don't have to do that. I'm gonna put $10,000 into it. A lot, most of that's gonna be my own labor. Then I'm gonna get other folks, but it's gonna be cheap labor. I'm gonna get them to work it. When I look at that, Metro pays me, okay, uh, on average, $8 to $1,000, maybe $1,100 a month. I put on Metro. Most people that's in the suburbs, you ain't getting Metro for them, so you have to screen your people really good. You have to pick good people, and your money is guaranteed. The folks out there in Metro, they not Metro in the suburbs. What they do is they put on a facade, so they come out with a good job, but that don't mean that they gonna pay on time. Just because you got a good job that suggests that you're gonna pay on time, that don't mean that you ain't got no habits, that you're not exposing to me. That don't mean that you're gonna keep my house clean and up and keep up the upkeeps of it. That don't mean none of that stuff. So there's a whole different element that you're gonna deal with. The other thing, Metro ain't paying, ain't giving you that kind of money for out there in the suburbs. Okay, so you might say, well, I can get a suburban house. My rent, I can get $1,500. Yeah, you can, but what's the longevity of that? How many months will you get that before you start having trouble out of the tenants not giving you payment just because they look good? They might even go to church, go to not church, go to work with a suit and tie. I've seen it all. It don't really matter. So for me, I hedge myself in and I invest in myself. I know what I can do. So I'll get a property. Not suggesting telling you to do what I do. And I know a lot of people can't do that because they don't know plumbing, they don't know electrical, they don't know woodworking, they don't know roofing and all that other stuff. They don't know what to go look for inside of a property, and somebody getting ready to get you or you gonna get them. They don't know all those types of things. Well, that's what I hedged myself in against. But it's a wonderful payoff in the inner city. Okay, because I can look to Metro, which is is the government, and I don't have shabby houses. All my houses are really good, and the return on my properties is usually within 1 year. That I can get what I invested, I can get that money back, and so you do the math on it, right? Um, and so that's the reason why, that's my pro tip for the day. And that's the reason why I don't buy in the suburbs per se, right? That's not to say that I will not invest in the future in the suburbs, but it's just I have not gained mastery of that. And I'm not one of the big boys. And at this point, I don't know if I have the energy to climb to get to a level that when I look back on life now, I wish that I knew what I knew now, 15, 20 years ago. And but I probably wouldn't be on here today. I probably wouldn't be able to do nothing with me. My big bro is out in California, and he just started a HVAC company. Abe's, just shameless plug for him out there, and his business is doing really well right now. He even wanted me to take part in the business, and the reason why I didn't, because I said, dude, I've been swinging hammers and climbing ladders and doing this for so long. I said, dude, I'm in cruise mode now. I said I do it, but I do it what I want to do. It's I my time is, I have control of time, and I want my leisure, and I am not getting ready to put all that energy into a startup company. And I know what it takes when you're dealing with HVAC. I know what it's going to take when you're dealing with technicians out there. It's just it can get very muddled. So, but kudos to him and his business, what he's doing. I hope that continues to go. I wish I could have known and done those things 15, 20 years ago, but here I am now. I thank God. I give him praise for where I am now. I ain't where I really want to be, but I sure ain't where a whole lot of people uh, are. I'm not where I could be. And so I am thankful for that on today. That is not to minimize, to take away from anybody, because I know folks say, well, here you go, he talking about himself. No, I'm not. What I'm trying to do is get something to you. I'm not trying to take something from you. I'm trying to get something to you. But what you'll do, you'll turn this off, or you won't listen to the spiritual part of it, because the spiritual part is the thing that's going to ignite the natural part. They all go hand in hand. And so when you get on there, there is a method to the madness of how all this works. And so I'm trying to get it to you, but you don't get it overnight. And if you get it overnight, you definitely ain't gonna keep it long term. Okay, because you didn't know what it took to get it. So you probably won't, more likely 99% won't have what it takes to maintain it. All right, men and women of God, remember this: the worst is over, the best is yet to come. Your quality of life is getting better and better and better. Because of that, you can live and not die. See and declare the works in the will for your life. I am Dr. Donnie Eatman. I am the face of Face to Face Ministries. I urge you, I admonish you to share, to like, to subscribe, to hit the bell for my channel, for my web platforms, or my media platforms, if you will, and share that with somebody. Share with an enemy. Share it with a friend. Uh, just share it, okay? Because maybe if you don't get nothing out of it, they may get something out of it. You never know. It's open to the world wide web, and you never know where people are at. All right. Until next time, remember this: that God loves you with everything. He loved you so much that he gave his only begotten son. And if you believe that, you won't perish, but you'll have everlasting life. I love you as well. I want you to go in God's strength and God's power, God's love, God's mercy, God's grace, and all the wonderful things that God has for you. And until next time, which hopefully will be Sunday, I will see you then. Until then, shalom or peace.